No, we all sang, everybody gets it wrong. So it was, and it was, the sponsors were Silverstein Properties and RDA and Securitas and Prism, and it was just, we all sang. So it was a tough crowd, but it was fun. So it was,
Hey, Michelle.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
We can see you.
Okay, wonderful. I started the YouTube. Okay.
Okay, and then we've got, I think all of our applicants here. Mr. Stash, you're calling in from, you're here with us from, from 340 Columbus Avenue?
240.
240. Oh, wrong glasses. Got it. Okay. Mr. Weinberg, hello. And Mr. Weinberg.
Not here for 240.
Okay, also here for 240. Okay, so we just need our committee members, and so we've got another minute, so everybody should be here shortly. Want me to sing the national anthem?
No,
Okay.
whatever you like, it's fine with me.
No, it's okay.
Play ball.
Peter Arnston is here.
Yeah, Peter's here.
Yeah.
Doug, I love your background. I'm gonna ask you to send it to me so we'll both have it. We'll be twins on Zoom.
All right. That's 73rd and Broadway.
Yep.
Nice.
The
Formerly
Ansonia.
known as Needle Park. If anyone remembers that movie with Al Pacino.
Yeah, but that's where I studied voice with Richard Fredericks in the 70s.
Oh, at the Ansonia.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm just talking about the park where I'm.
Oh, Madeline's here. This is getting great. Hi, Madeline. So we've got, we need 6, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4. 1, 2, 4. Just 2 more and we're in. We can get started.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Madeline.
Hi, Madeline. How are
Hello.
you doing?
Hello.
Okay.
I'm Madeline.
Hi.
Andrew,
There's Andrew.
Marathon Man.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
Congratulations.
thank you.
The picture of you and your daughter is precious.
That's a great one, right? She like ran for a block. She
Hi.
was
Hi,
taking out
Andrew.
candy to everyone. Hello. Sorry, I'm at the airport, so I'm gonna have to log off pretty quickly, but I just want to make sure that I got on and said hello and was here.
It's just 6:31. We've got 5 people here from 5 committee members, so we need 1 more.
Great. Well, I will be hanging for a few.
Okay, well, let's get, Jacob Hodger Georges just wrote in and said he can't get in, so. 1, 2, 4. We're missing Arena and we're missing,
Am I
You're
missing
right.
something on, Jacob is here for what agenda item? I don't have.
he's for new business.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna text Arena and I'm gonna call her and see.
Let me see, I have an attendee. Benjamin Wu is here.
Oh, then we've got it. We've got 6. Great. Okay, we can
I'm
get
promoting
started.
him to panelist, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've got, hey, Benjamin.
Hi, everyone.
So we have
Hi, Benjamin.
we officially
Great.
have a quorum. We have 6 people from BCI, so let's get started.
Great to see everyone.
Good to see you too, Benjamin. Hi, I'm Linda Alexander. I'm co-chair of BCI, and let's get started. So we have a new application for, to the TSLA for a 2-year liquor license. Mr. Wang is here for 710 Seafood. Would you tell us what's going on?
Yep. Okay, so this one is for they already there. They just changed the ownership and they will be the transfer license. So they are there is almost operate 4 years. The hour will be 11 to 12 o'clock, 7 days a week. Will be
I'm sorry,
restaurant.
11 to midnight, 7 days a week?
Yes, right.
Okay, somebody should be muting themselves. Okay. Okay, Mr. Wang, so it's 7 days a week they're open, 11 to midnight. And so this restaurant has been there?
Yes. In
What is there now? Because it says that the new name is coming in too.
Yeah. Yes.
And what is there currently?
The current is the DBA name will be same boilery.
Wait, Mr. Wang, somebody's talking over this.
Because I have another meeting, let me multi it.
Oh, that's coming from you. Sorry. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? Committee members?
I do. I'm taking the minutes tonight. So Mr. Wang, you're the attorney for the applicant, for the new applicant or the old one, or both?
For both, yeah. So
Okay.
I'm not an attorney, the representative for both. Yes,
And you are an attorney, or you're not an attorney?
I'm not an attorney, representative.
Okay.
He's represented a lot of restaurants and
Yes,
and I think we have, do we have your contact? We have your contact information.
yes, I think so. Yeah.
So the only question I had, you said the boiler. Now, in full disclosure, I did this transaction, so I will be ineligible to vote, and I'm just simply getting information here. But I was not part of this transfer. So it is the boilery now, and it's going to be a new name. And what's the new name?
Same name. The DBA name is same, but for the corporation name is different.
Okay. Got it.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
it's the boilery right now. I know
Yeah,
what that is. Yeah, I remember when. Fantastic, okay. Any other committee members have any questions?
It's actually my father-in-law. I didn't realize he was presenting today.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this is a small world moment, but does that mean you,
I mean, am I allowed to vote then or not?
yeah, I think you are.
I don't know.
Well, that,
Is this
I didn't. I mean, I sounds good to me. The boiler is, haven't been there, but it looks like a great place.
He's your father-in-law and you haven't been there?
No, well, he's presenting now. I didn't realize
He's
he'd be on today.
representing. Okay. Anyone have any questions? Is there anyone here from the public? Shall we call to question?
There's literally no one here from the public.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor, please raise your hand. You can do this. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Where's our 5? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, well, against? Abstaining? Not voting for cause? 1. So the vote passes 5001.
Got it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. So I will put, let me lower everyone's hands. Actually, lower your own hands because I don't know how to do it. Okay. Next one. Here we are. And here it is. It's Showtime Smoke Jazz Club. Cool. Okay. So you're on. Can you
Sure.
tell us, this is an alteration license to the state, to the SLA for a 2-year license. So you're going to relocate to add more space there. right?
Yeah, so they're planning on adding space from an adjacent storefront. And they're also going to be relocating the location of the bar. It's just moving from one place that's already there and it's going to be moved to where the new adjacent space is going to be.
So they're expanding.
Yeah.
That's wonderful news.
Mhm.
Great.
That's wonderful news.
Yeah.
Same hours of operation?
Same hours of operation, yeah.
Anyone have any questions?
Sounds good. Would like to go.
Yeah.
That's a
And,
statement.
yeah, forgive me for the minutes. Alexis Santori, are you the attorney?
I'm the representative for Paul Stash, who's also here today.
Got it. So you're not with Helbron Levy.
I am with Helbron Levy, yes.
You are. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Perfect.
Okay, Mr. Stash, do you want to say anything, except we are so grateful that you reopened?
I'm glad to hear that. We are very excited about it too. We're a little bummed. It's taking a little longer than we wanted to. But construction in pandemic New York is moving a little slower than we expected. So we're hope to be done with our construction in the next month and a half or so. And we're looking forward to reopening. We can't wait. And I think the additional space will still be very cozy, but it will be, we'll have a little bit more elbow room for everyone. So
Yeah, it was very cozy. Now it'll be a little cozy with elbow. Sounds great.
You know, in pandemic times, you know, cozy is a double-edged sword, so it's good for people to have a little extra.
Well, we're glad you're with us. So, anybody from the public want to speak, or forever hold your?
Yes, I'd like to just say that it's great to have them back. They create a lot more diversity in terms of our offerings with jazz on a regular basis that varies from night to night. And it's really worthwhile to come up and see it. So come on up.
And the food's good.
Yes.
Unlike most jazz clubs. So.
Thanks so much for the great plug, everyone. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, so shall we call the questions, folks?
Call the question.
Okay, all in favor, committee members? Please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 in favor. Okay, non-committee members? I just saw you, Seema. Hi. So,
Hey.
And who else? Oh, you're a committee member. Got a lower. Seema's voting yes, so it's 1-0-0-0. And so the application passes, and thank goodness for that. Thank you all. Okay.
Great evening, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking the time. And when do you open, by the way, officially?
What's that?
When do you officially reopen? I mean, you are reopened, but when do you?
People ask me that, and it's hard for me to predict right now. There's a few construction wrinkles that we're still trying to overcome and sign off. So it's early next year. We hope to be open.
Sounds great. Sounds great. I'm practicing my chops. I'm telling you right now.
Excellent. The jam session will be there, so we'll be looking for you.
Okay. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
So,
Linda, I think Benjamin has a question, or?
Oh, no, Benjamin needs you to lower your hand.
This was just the sorry, you know.
Okay.
I need to get better at this.
I do. I need to figure out how to take the hands down. Okay, so we're on our final application, folks, and so that is 240 Columbus Avenue, an expansion into municipal property licensee. Oh, by Felice. Hello, Felice. Who is here for Felice? Oh, hi there.
Hi, how are you? My name is Seth Weinberg with Weinberg, Zara, Malkin, Price. We are the attorneys for Felice 240.
Okay, so what? Tell us about this application, please, Mr. Weinberg.
Sure, it's a part of the. It's an application essentially that we understood was required for filing in order to be able to serve alcohol in the outdoor space that they are currently utilizing on Columbus Avenue in front of the restaurant, consistent with New York City's permitted programs resulting from the pandemic.
Right. Okay. This is the first time, actually, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew or Josh or Doug, but is this the first time we've heard for this? Is this the first? Is this the first one we've heard where they're asking they've had to apply for permission for the curbside seating?
I think we've heard at least one or two.
Yeah.
Curbside seating, meaning up against the curb.
No,
Not
curb,
up
the,
against
the roadway.
the curbside sheds.
You're talking about
Well,
the road, yeah, road,
or bike lane, right?
yeah, roadway seating in the municipal, that's,
Yeah.
right. It's the
Parking
municipal.
spaces.
Right.
I haven't heard it. I mean,
I haven't seen this, so
Yeah.
this is this is interesting.
There was a cutoff deadline past which you were required to go to the community board. And so we just failed to come in under the deadline.
missed.
So
Got it.
most everybody else before us would not have had to go through this. So we're
Right.
sort of the early case.
Okay, so you're our first case, and I know Felice is wildly popular, and so congratulations. You've gotten great reviews. That's congratulations. Is there any committee members? Do you have any questions?
The only question I had was just, I know you've got something on the side. You have the enclosed cafe, which is good for you. It's grandfathered. And then you're having additional roadway seating on Columbus Avenue, or is this on the 71st Street side?
I believe it's on Columbus Avenue specifically.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Okay, anyone from the public like to speak? Peter? Okay. Shall we call to question? All those in favor? Please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, did we lose somebody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Josh.
I don't see SEMA.
Well, Seema's not on the committee. She's but I don't see Josh. We lost Josh.
Do we?
I'm going to take the vote because he was here. He must have just, so let's 5, and we're going to have to call this 5. We're losing a quorum, but I'll consult. I don't know what happened to Josh.
I'll message him right now.
Would you?
Yep.
Okay, and non-committee members?
Should I lower?
Yeah, you can, well, let's keep that up until we hear from Josh. Must be because he's working.
Yeah, he hasn't responded yet, but I'll let you know.
Okay, I'm going to take this vote and I'll discuss it.
He just said bounce myself, logging back in. Okay, he's coming
Oh, he
back.
bounced himself. Okay.
In the meanwhile, I'll apologize for the poor lighting in my home office due to a burned out bulb that makes me look like a
I have
low-rent
the
Bond
same
villain.
thing. Okay.
Linda,
Okay.
I'm going to have to jump. This is the last, this is the last
Okay.
application, right? I voted
We've
in
got
favor.
we've got your vote
got-
recorded, Andrew. Thank you so much. We're
You
just
got
waiting
it,
for Josh.
thanks. Good night, everyone. Sorry I had to jump early.
Good night.
Thank you very much for your
luck.
time.
Thanks.
travels.
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna just stop my video for 1 second while I pull out my delicata squash.
Seth, I would love to ask about if you
Please,
had any
Scott.
problems with the application. This is Peter Arnson with the Columbus Amsterdam bid.
I don't believe we did. It was simply a matter of timing and where we fell in the calendar. But the application itself, I think, was fairly straightforward. The process is something, to be perfectly honest, we're learning as we go because we are early in the process. I can't tell you we've done a dozen of these, but I don't think anybody else can either.
Got it, thanks.
Pardon, Josh, are you voting in the affirmative?
Yes.
Okay, we have.
Okay, so we've got it. So it's 6006000.
I logged myself off somewhere.
Non-committee members. Wait, let's pull our hands down. Non-committee
do it.
members. I think we lost our non-committee. Mr. Suero, you are here for, okay, so the application passes.
Thank you. And if
6.
Peter or anybody else has any questions for us on how we found the application process, I'm always happy to talk after the fact.
Thank you. We've got Joseph Suero. Do you want to unmute yourself? Are you here for an issue?
Yes, how are you?
Good.
It's just Steve Suero. I'm here with Savas. We are from Jacobs Pickles.
We're at new business, folks. Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. So,
We're just having some issues with
yes, you are.
Well, it is big. We just want to make sure that we address it properly, and we're doing our due diligence to ensure that we are compliant with everything that is being requested in order to participate in the open restaurant program.
Let me ask you this. You obviously your restaurants, your enclosures, your sheds span beyond the frontage of your restaurants, which we know has been approved by DOT. What were their issues? Because Jacob called, and I know we connected him with the borough president's office. But what were the issues that DOT was having a problem with?
So the issues were that we were 6 inches past the 8 feet that we're allowed.
And which side? I'm assuming
on the roadside. On the roadside seating.
So closer to 84th Street or 85th Street?
On Amsterdam Avenue.
I know it's on Amsterdam Avenue. It's between 84th and 85th. You mean you were too deep? You were 6 inches too deep?
Correct.
Correct. The entire structure, basically.
Too far away from the park area or the building.
I wouldn't say so. It's just that it spans a little over.
Well, I'm saying that you were out. You were 8 feet 6 inches. You were.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're only allowed to be 8 feet.
Correct, and that was only because when we first built the structure, we were 8 feet, like the guidelines stated. But going into the winter, we were putting the plexiglass all around and trying to build like a structure, and that's when we like extended it like a little too much. Only because at the beginning we had no idea like how long this was going to last for.
So can I just, if we can back up a little bit? So I know, so you're here. Did you receive a violation or a letter from DOT? Why are you here? I don't understand. What's the issue?
We received several letters from the DOT, and now it's to the point that they want to terminate the authorization to operate the roadside.
Oh, hold on a minute. Wait, that's not what I was told. So I spoke to Jacob on Monday, and he didn't mention that you had received letters. He was totally surprised by DOT coming. They gave him a cease and desist.
Exactly.
So you knew that you were in violation for a while?
No, we just received a termination notice. We received on the 4th. On the 4th of November, we received a notice on the 3rd and on the 8th.
Was this a notice? Was this a notice sent in the mail or someone? Or
no,
some
they came on
inspector
site.
Handed it to you? I saw multiple locations in Amsterdam get notices, and I'm putting that in quotes and using that term loosely because this was essentially a photocopied blanket boilerplate piece of document, and they hand wrote in the name, said bar X is in violation of this, and this, right. And then said, but this isn't really an official summons or any kind of penalty or anything. It's just it's essentially a warning by my view. And the reason I say that is because I know in Amsterdam between 80th and 82nd, I can speak because I've spoken to almost everybody who has especially on the west side of the street, with the exception of one place, everybody got a violation for something. Some of it was because there was not because of 8 feet, because there was a tree pit there, and you have to have 8 feet of space. Even though the original cafe before this may have been where the tree pit is, and that was okay, but now apparently it's not okay. But I don't know that this piece of paper is an official anything. It doesn't seems like more of a fix this or we're going to come back. That's what it looks like to me.
Except what happened, according to Jacob, is that they went to him and they said, you have a day, you have 24 hours to tear this down or we'll do it for you.
Correct. And that happened to a bunch of places on Amsterdam on the west side.
That's untenable.
Well, wait a minute. Let me finish. So that happened to a bunch of places on Amsterdam on the west side of the street between 80th and 82nd. And if you walk that stretch, you will see that only one place took down their structure and moved it in. Everybody else just left it the way it was. And as you also noticed, nobody's had their structure taken down.
Right.
We
So
don't know what they're going to do. And the thing is, I asked Colleen Chadwick to come and meet with us. I sent her questions because she said she wouldn't. 2 weeks ago, she has not responded.
So we were on a meeting last night with Colleen, but this issue came up.
Really?
Well, this is what I'm talking about in the Transportation Committee.
I know.
But we voted on a resolution on transportation regarding restaurants on Columbus Avenue, which
The no standing.
right, the no standing issue, which also they received cease and desist letters. I've seen them, so I don't know if this is a similar letter.
It's the same letter.
I assume so.
But this is untenable. And it's also untenable that DOT is in charge of this and they won't come and talk to us and they won't respond to our questions. This is not acceptable. Michelle, you got to help us out here, man. I'm telling you, this is not acceptable. They're targeting restaurants arbitrarily and without the damn guidelines. That's the problem. And I said to her, I said, where are your guidelines published? And she's saying, well, we're getting to them. I'm like, that's not acceptable.
You can't be issuing summonses and warrants and fines and warnings without guidelines.
Well, hang on. Listen, obviously we are very pro-business here and we want to be very fair, but I will say that we're talking about two different guidelines. You're talking about the emergency order. Right. Right. So the new guidelines have not been, released yet from DOT.
Right.
They're going to public hearings. This is a very comprehensive. What we're talking about are the guidelines that were under the emergency order for the self-certification. So, and there are rules there, and there have been different interpretations, and there've been different issues that have come up, and I think there have been some mistakes that have been made. So apparently, and I'm not looking for you to stipulate something or admit anything, but I think you sort of said earlier that it's supposed to be 8 feet. It's a little bit wider, and now they're saying take it down. And to Josh's point, I have not seen anything taken down yet.
Not by DOT, but I've seen people voluntarily take theirs.
Yeah,
voluntarily
reduce the depth of their structure.
I think if you know you're 6 inches, you're talking about the depth of the structure. If you know you're 6 inches too deep, you're going to have to find a way to ameliorate that. I would do that, and I'm talking to Joseph and
yes.
I think some of the confusion. Sorry, Peter. I think some of the confusion is that there was with the 8 feet. Some people are interpreting this as 8 feet from your building, and some people are interpreting this as 8 feet from your structure to the curb. Now we all know previous to COVID, cafes came out to 9 feet.
9 feet from the base
from
building.
the building, which did not provide 8 feet of walking to the curb. In any, I mean, maybe on some place, but not on Amsterdam Avenue for certain.
Right.
And so I think there is confusion because the 8 feet I think it's a little vague. And I think some people are scared that they're going to lose their liquor license because DOT says because this was on the cease and desist letter that you are potential of losing your liquor license, which I don't think that DOT has the authority for the city to go to the state. To me, it just seems like scare tactics by DOT for reasons that I don't understand.
I understand.
Peter? I'm sorry. You wanted to
You're
say
on
something?
mute, Peter.
Yeah. So we're more than happy to work with DOT and fix all these issues right away. We actually started construction today. And we're going to continue until probably early next week or late next week, depending on how fast we're going to be moving, because we're going to have to make a lot of adjustments to our structures. But we started construction today to fix all these issues on these letters. We just need a little bit of time.
Look, this is not an official statement, but we were told by DOT, I think it was sort of cryptic the way it was explained to us, that they don't have any plans of deconstructing any of these anytime soon. And I was happy to hear that because, and I can speak before our board because it was passed at our full board that we asked on Columbus Avenue is another issue where they're in a no standing zone, and DOT sent similar letters and to basically have these restaurants remove these cafes 6 days a week from the hours of like, it was like 3 or 4 hours.
Right, and then on the weekend, right.
Impossible. So we passed a resolution asking that they waive that until the new rules come out, and to not enforce it. That was the community board's official position. I could say that because it was passed.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be under that's the problem. This is an issue that's not so much a transportation issue as it is a business issue. And the fact that it's in the purview currently, because there is no more DCA, there's a DCWP. So it's in the purview of DOT, and there's no one at the helm, and there's nobody's going to come and talk to us, but they're penalizing our restaurants.
Yeah, but how are they? What's the penalty? How are they penalizing? That was my point when I said I think this is because no one's actually gotten. Okay. Some people are scared,
and they're getting attorneys, and they're spending money.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing that. Peter.
I have a lot of small restaurants, and they are scared. They don't know what to do. Some of them, I mean, one Thai market pulled out all their, they had 5-gallon water buckets as a deterrent instead of sandbags. And he was out there after dark yesterday, pulling those out so that he could put soil and sand. He was told to put soil in. The soil is less weight than the water. It just makes no sense. And I would love to have, I mean, Josh, I heard you talking about or Doug, I heard you both talking about guidelines that I should be paying attention to, or I need to work with the small business, the small restaurants, because they don't have time and they are scared. So I need to spend some time trying to bring myself up to speed. If either of you have recommendations of things to read and pay attention to, I would be glad to.
Peter, they're on the DOT website, and we'll send you a link. Okay.
But to Peter's
link, I've got the DOT website, and that's I'm feeling like a little bit more direction would be, if there's any more direction than that, I would love it. Otherwise, I will use the DOT website.
I would say to Peter's point that when he said that the person said soil, if that's indeed what the person from DOT told them, this is a similar problem that happened during 2 summers ago with COVID, with people doing these inspections and not being trained properly as to what is expected and what is required and what needs to be compliant. So this person may have said soil because they didn't know that soil and sand were different, or they thought they heard soil, or there's not proper guidance. And so what happens is they take people, because they have, let's say, 5 people to do this job, and now they need 70. So they take someone from another department and throw them into this job. And that's why we have all this miscommunication.
They were spending, back in July of 2020, they were sending inspectors. They were working for DOT on behalf of DOT, but they were coming from DOB. They were coming at that point from DCA when there still was. So they had nobody. There was no continuity, and there were no guidelines.
But to be fair, or not fair, but just make a statement that unfortunately there was no contingency plan for an emergency situation.
Yeah.
So that's what made this even worse, is that it was everyday things were changing because there was no plan in place to say, if we have a catastrophe, how do we handle this? It was, we have a catastrophe, now we have to handle this. And that's why we run into so many issues.
Well, don't you remember the first thing that happened was the DOT said everybody had to put they could go into the street with the curbside seating, I call it, but that they had to have stanchions. They said stanchions. They had to have some kind of barriers. And I specifically asked, I think Polly Drottenberg was on that call. This is on the 19th of June. And I specifically said, well, can they use stanchions? She said, well, we're looking into it. So we had this idea that, and then a week later, they said, no, it has to be 36 inches high and 18 inches wide. And people started getting tickets. Restaurants started getting tickets a week later. So there were no plans, and nobody thought about it. And when you ask them, they said, well, we haven't gotten confirmation from the office of the mayor. So this is, and it's still going on.
There was a lot of confusion early on, and it cost restaurants dearly, and there's still confusion. And remember, everything is still under the emergency order.
Right.
I think part of the problem is, and I'm not defending DOT one way or the other, I'm just being kind of agnostic about it. But the fact is that there are restaurants, I mean, we're talking about thousands in the 5 boroughs that have abused their privilege.
Correct. Agreed.
I'm not saying that anyone present on this meeting has doing that. And I think that they were sort of obligated to send these letters out, you know, where they enforce and how they do. I'm hoping for you guys that if you are fixing it, which is great, I'm hoping that they're not going to do what they threatened to do in the letter. And you know, we said very publicly in a meeting that if you start to disassemble people's outdoor cafes, especially now that it's getting cooler, this would be a very terrible day, and it would look really, really bad on the news for DOT to destroy people's livelihoods. And we really hope that you don't do that unless it's absolutely egregious and dangerous.
Where has this happened that DOT has disassembled? I haven't seen or heard this. So
what happened? They went to Jacob and they threatened to do it the next. They threatened him. They
threatened to Bella Luna and also Jeremy's restaurants. They said they would take it down. They
threatened the restaurants on Amsterdam on the west side of the street between 88th and 2nd. And like I said, only one place decided that they didn't want to take a chance, and they modified their structure, where nobody else from 80th to 82nd on the west side of the street did anything. But one place did, because they were nervous. And we all talk, we all talk about these things. You know, I know all the people around here, we talk about them, and they decided that they felt it was in their best interest, and they have to make that decision for their business. It's not for anybody else to say what they think is right.
Yeah, but that's not good governance, and
that's a different story.
That's and it's not acceptable to have inspectors walk into restaurants and say you have 24 hours to take this down, or we will. There's no warning. It's not acceptable, and you know, we've got to do something. We really do. I don't know. I mean, we're advisory, but we have to. Yeah, Peter.
I would love to also hear if there was any way of having an appeal or somebody to reach out to that could give a single set of guidelines.
There's not right now.
And it
There's not right now. Peter, that was the whole point.
I would love to have available.
The only guidelines that are official are on the DOT website according to the emergency order. The new guidelines, which we're going to probably be talking about, are probably not going to be published. I mean, this could be over a year. I think.
Well, that was the discussion with Colleen.
Yes.
But the point is, she won't even meet with she won't meet with us, and
there's no. I mean, they don't know what the new guidelines are, and I think they're going to be going through a public hearing process. I think they're probably at city council, I assume, and certainly
we have a whole new city council coming in January. So
that's right. So I think my guess here is that there's really sort of no comment because they don't have it. And that was the whole idea before, part of the zoning change for the city, why our board, even though I disagreed with it, our board decided to vote against the text amendment because the new rules hadn't been published yet. So how do you remove items in the city zoning without having the new rules? But these rules are going to be.
But there were no new rules, and there are different agencies who would be involved in the rules. And the idea was to give them the go ahead to get it going. And what we did was vote against by one vote.
Bad job.
Well,
stupid.
Yeah.
Yep.
So look, I don't.
Anti-business.
I think to the folks at Jacobs, and by the way, again, in full disclosure, I many years ago was the broker at the Jacobs Pickle with your landlord and for Jacobs. So. But I'm not, you know, I don't have any monetary benefit of this, and there's no vote here. But my guess is that, and my hope is that you're going to be okay, especially if you're changing it to comply. I mean, I think that speaks volumes. If you're actually going to be changing it, and then in a short period of time you will be compliant. I mean, I think that speaks very highly for you.
Most definitely. We always take a step and we follow all the guidelines, and we do
yes.
The minute this program started, I immediately when I did the applications. I follow all the DOT at the beginning was extremely helpful. I would lie to you if I say something else. They provided sand. I went to every single site all over the city to get this sand for the barriers, for the barricades, how they were calling it at some point. They were giving salt to put it in the what is this thing called? The orange
Big bags.
Yeah. What is it? For the water? It's like the construction.
Yeah, the barriers.
The barriers, exactly. So we went, I grabbed all of those. I did take advantage of everything that was being provided for free. Okay, they were extremely helpful. But at the same time, we were getting visits from the Department of Homeland asking for our receipts, basically, to see who is buying alcohol without food. Like we're complying with everything that we're doing. So it's just like kind of like weird, the fact that they're sending all these different inspectors where they're not even speaking to us. They are just like shouting, you need to move this, and then just drop things off. Like, you know, like the only person that was kind enough to have a conversation with us was Chris Esposito, who took the time to meet with us yesterday and explain to us some of the things that can help us be in within the guidelines, so we can try to comply and keep on the open restaurant program. But
who's Chris Esposito?
He is a DOT representative. There's a lot of YouTube. He's an inspector. And he was very helpful yesterday.
Okay.
At the same time, in addition to, I want to mention this earlier actually, in addition to the 6 inches, the inspector was also mentioning that we're blocking water flow with our structure. I do want to say that the way we built our structure from the beginning, we actually planned it in a way where water will escape because it has some sort of like what's the word,
pitch.
Yeah, pitch. But what he's asking for like some sort of like mesh. He wants to see like water escape and like all the good stuff, which it's actually going to make the situation worse.
Yeah, because it's going to get stuck in the mesh because garbage will get stuck there, and that'll
not only that, you'll get
water.
critters getting into that space
exactly.
As well.
Like, guys, we've had
I've
so
seen
much
this,
water.
yeah.
We've had so much water this past year, so much water, and
Yeah.
we haven't had an issue at all. Like I've been in this restaurant every single day for the past year, and like we haven't had any issues. Like we had so many wins, reports from DOT to like remove all of our like, you know, tables, chairs, umbrellas, and all the good stuff, furniture. Like our structure has been built so well, and the way they're asking us to like make these changes right now, it's unsafe. It's unsafe. It really, really is. But if this is gonna make them happy and gonna let us keep it, well,
I think your biggest issue right now is the 6 inches. But
that we're working on it. We started construction today. We had, and like that's the other thing, like giving us 24 hours, it's literally nothing, because finding a contractor, getting all this material, we all know how hard it is to get material, any sort of material nowadays. It's like impossible. Like literally everything is out of stock. So it's like, give us like, you know, like a little more than 24 hours, you know?
No, the rules are that I haven't read them recently, but I don't remember specifics on water flow and
There wasn't anything.
It's like DEP. There
wasn't anything on that.
Yeah, I don't know where they're coming up with these things, and
make it up as they go along.
There was nothing. There was nothing about that.
I don't remember reading anything about water flow.
Right.
Ask him to, you could ask him to show it to you, but you don't want to intimidate. You don't want to piss him off. Make
the letters that you received, they've put you on official notice for the 6 inches. Was any other things that they're claiming is a violation?
Excavated.
So another big thing, which we understand the issue. So instead of running wires above for our electrical heaters, we excavated the sidewalk. But at the time, we did have an electrical permit, which DOT said they couldn't find, but we were able to pull it out today. So we'll show that to DOT.
So you excavated the public sidewalk to bury wires for.
Many places have done this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm not saying
we actually spend so much money because I mean it's so much cheaper to just run like hanging wires above, but that is so unsafe. So unsafe.
You can do it safely, but what you did is much better.
I know,
so you spent the extra money. You spent the extra money to do it well. You got the permits. DOT lost the permits. Fortunately, you found the paperwork, and you will show that to them. Am I correct?
Correct. But I believe that I'm not sure if this permit is going to work or not. We're going to try our best, but if they're unhappy,
why wouldn't it work if it was already accepted?
Excuse me?
Why would it not be valid if it was previously accepted by DOT?
I mean, I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised with anything they come up with at the moment.
First of all, but you've got that.
We have the permit. I can like pull it right now on my phone.
You requested a permit for the excavation. You received the permit.
We actually had a permit for another reason.
Oh,
to be honest.
Okay.
Okay. I appreciate your honesty, but.
Absolutely. But
let's start off with that, my dear.
Well, yeah, for sure. Well, that's why I'm saying we'll see if it works or not. But if it doesn't, we're more than happy to like run the wires above if that what makes them happy, you know.
Okay, but what you just presented, see, this is the problem. What you just presented here was that you had the permits to do what you're saying you were doing, but you didn't. You had permits to do something else, although it comprised the same thing.
Good night. This is Eric Alvarez.
Yes, how are you? Yeah, how you?
Not muted.
Anyway, I think you're working with the borough president's office right now, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I believe Helen Rosenthal's office wrote a letter in support for the other issues on Columbus Avenue. So you may want to reach out to them as well, but
no,
I was told, okay. I heard that they wrote a letter in support, but I don't know.
They may happen in general, but yeah.
But at the same time, we're more than happy to work with DOT and any other department to just like keep this structure, keep the open program going. You know, at the same time, we all have to know that we're still living in a pandemic. A lot of our guests still feel unsafe sitting indoors. Even myself, you know, even though I'm like younger, I still feel unsafe like sitting inside. I would always prefer to sit outside, you know.
Not me. Yeah.
I mean, I get that. That's a preference, but a big amount of our guests do prefer.
No, I know a lot of. I had
safer, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people, especially in my age group, they feel unsafe about sitting. You know, old folk.
Yeah,
about sitting. You could refute that, but sitting inside. So anyway, I think. That's it. I'm glad you came. I think we're just going to have to keep trying to reach DOT and get them over here to hear some of these issues and find out some of their answers. I mean, that's really, Doug, you don't have to agree with me, but I think it's critically important that instead of just going to transportation and talking about bike lanes, they should come over it because now that they're targeting restaurants, they should come and hear from the restaurants. That's all.
I agree 100%. I think the challenge is that it seems to me that there's no one size fits all for every single permit in all 5 boroughs of the thousands and thousands. I think it's you know, like they're almost, it's like a requisite letter that they would be negligent if they didn't notify you. What they're going to do about it is their decision and yet to be seen. But my guess is that they have to be on notice, and they're going to. I'm being very careful with my words. I don't want to say selectively enforce, but what I would hope is that they would only take any drastic action in examples that were very dangerous. There was an example in Lower Manhattan where an operator built a double-decker outdoor.
Right, that's something
that
else.
had to go down. That had to get taken down, and I don't know.
And you've got abandoned sheds all over the place, and those should be taken down. I mean,
right,
there are definite issues, but this neighborhood, not so much. And I don't care about the other neighborhoods. I care about ours. You know, what we're talking about DOT has to do with our district. That's all. I can't speak for the other.
We support jobs and business and always safety first, no doubt. So I didn't hear anything. And I'm not an expert, but I didn't hear anything that is presenting a dangerous situation that you're talking about.
No.
If you truly were creating a flood, you know, because, you know, during the heavy rains, I might go, oh yeah, you got to look at that. But apparently, yes, we had a tremendous amount of rain, and apparently it wasn't an issue. So I don't know, Linda, I mean, I don't know. There's nothing other. I mean, I'm very glad that you brought it to our attention.
Really, thank you. Yes.
And Peter,
thank you for being here and taking the time to be here.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be very mindful of it. I don't know if there's anything in particular we can do, but we should have a conversation with DOT. And this is going to be
untenable.
Going to get, well, the rules making is what is going to add clarity, and that is not coming for a while.
How do you make rules if you don't hear what the issues are? And you don't hear what the issues are if you're not meeting with the people whom you're targeting.
Well, right. The rule when they roll out the rules,
targeting. Yeah.
When they roll out the rules, there's going to be a public hearing process.
Josh just signed out. I think you and I can expound on this forever. Peter, you've got another. You want to say something before I close the meeting?
Yes, please. Thanks. I just wanted to report that we are going to continue with the open streets.
Good.
And we are cutting back on our hours and may drop Amsterdam 96 to 106 after the 21st of November and hope to pick it up again in the spring. It's just getting too dark and cars are moving way too fast and not paying attention to cars and bikes and are not paying attention to pedestrians. And there's less people out after dark because they recognize that it's a problem. So we are adjusting our hours. We will be working with the Inclusive Playground on the 21st for their celebration. And we are doing an e-waste collection on the 21st, also up at 110th Street. So just to be aware of those. The open streets has been a blessing for all of our restaurants, or for most of our restaurants. There's a couple that would like to have more cars being able to come to their doorway, but for the most part, everybody is really pleased. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you for your work.
Thank you too. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks, everybody.
Can you hear me? Am I in? Great. Hmm.